Good morning, everyone. It's May 3rd, 2021. Thanks for joining me for the Serendipity Charity Make-A-Wish Row 4. So we have our Make-A-Wish box. I have already taken everything I need out of my quilt kit. And so if you look in here, I kind of just have everything else just loose. And you can tell that as we sew, it's going to get emptier and emptier. So I already pulled all of my fabric out. We're on row 4. We have raised $72,889, so that is so exciting. And I'm going to show you how we've met our goal on our image. So we have way surpassed our goal, which was originally 50,000. So thank you to everyone. And if you want to see the first wish we were able to grant this year, check out last Friday's live stream. We were able to grant a wish to Charlotte. She's 3, and her wish, the rest of her wish was granted yesterday. So we'll get some pictures of that to show you also. I'm going to jump right in and show you row 4. And then at the end, I'm going to show you one of the bonus patterns that we have for meeting our goal. And what I like to do on this video is I'm going to show you cutting of all of the blocks, and then I'm gonna have it all labeled, and I'm gonna make one block for you today, and then when you come back Friday, all 6 will be done in a row. So we're gonna do just one block today. It's called Good Fortune. And so I have all of my alphabetties ready, and so I am just gonna follow my pattern. For the accent, we need to make some half square triangles. So that's first step. So I kind of look at the steps and then go up here and look at cutting. So it says that we're going to need 12 2 7/8 inch squares. And it also tells me right here that H200 is the size I would need. So I need 12 of those. So I'm going to cut 12 off. I'm going to leave it all in one big piece. And we'll see if we can make it fit on the paper. If not, I can cut it into 2 pieces. So 12 squares is going to give us 24 half square triangles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And so this time I'm going to do my accent correctly, because last time I did my accent fabric incorrect, which is okay. So our accent on this quilt is always green. So that's my green fabric. And my background fabric is here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this so that I'm working more with a fat quarter rather than a half yard, just to have a smaller piece. And when you are working with half square triangle paper, you want to put your fabrics right sides together. I can't tell you how many times recently I have done them incorrectly. I did it incorrect the other week and then yesterday, so even I forget. So that's nice and flat. You want to make sure that when you're doing half square triangles, you don't have any wrinkles, because if you have wrinkles, that will distort the result of your half square triangles. So it fits perfectly. I got pretty lucky there. So I'm going to just kind of pin this in place. And this one should be pretty easy. It's a lot of corner squares and half square triangles. Corner squares are pretty easy. So I'm just going to cut, let's see, I'm just going to cut this off. So again, this is going to give me all the accent for all 6 blocks. I only need part of this today, but that's okay. I will have this for when I go home. So then this accent piece will go back in my box for another day. So that is done. And then I'm going to look here. So we need for these half square triangles, for each one we need 2 2 7/8 inch squares. So I'm only going to cut one off because I'll cut the rest at home. But you're going to need to cut 6 sections because there's 6 fabrics and 2 squares each. So I'm just going to cut 1. We'll cut all the fabrics. I'm just not going to do all the papers right now. So from each print, we're going to do that. So I've got all my prints here in order. So I've got white, brown, blue, yellow, and then the white, or the tan and the tan. And I have them all lined up at the bottom here. So what I'll do is just cut this little section right here. And then this will be for my half square triangles. I'll just put a little pin here so that they stay together. And then I've got to do my other pieces from the blue. So here, I'll cut another little blue piece so I know the size. We need to cut the coordinating blue side to go with it. So when I do that, I'm just going to kind of guesstimate. So we'll need 12 of these. So we will just do 6 of these. And that's what's great about half square triangle paper is you don't have to cut accurately. 2. And so I just guess. So I'm gonna need 6 of these. Hopefully I'll get it all the way across. And I'll probably save this little piece. So these are gonna be my A's. So I'll put those on my board with my A's. So that's kind of the hard stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and finish cutting all the rest of the background fabrics. I need 24 2.5-inch squares, so I will need 3 strips of this because it's 20 inches wide. So I'm going to cut 3 2.5-inch strips and subcut some squares. Why are you using a product that is not in the kit? Because in the pattern, if you look on the pattern, we wrote the pattern for the traditional method, so you have all the instructions to do it the traditional method. If we would have put the half square triangles in the kit, it would have been price prohibitive and the kit would not have sold. And a lot of people already have half square triangle paper also. But we do always give the instructions for how to do it the traditional way. That way you have freedom to do whichever way works best for you. So let's see, we need 24, so we've got 8, 12, now here, I'm not going to use these because you see that it's not straight. So I'm not going to use those. I can save that in case you need something smaller later. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this needs to be ironed. And then we'll see if we can get it to work. Where do I download the 2-inch triangles? So it is a product that you would buy. It's called H200. It's on our website. And if you don't want to buy that or use triangle paper, just follow this method right here, which is the traditional way. When I do these videos, I show you what I do at home, just to give you some options. So we're actually going to need one more strip besides this one. So we've got 18. So we need one more. I'm going to iron this real quick. It's going to be a full week of mornings with Kimberly. I always love the first week of the month. Yay, thank you. So yeah, we're gonna have a live tomorrow on our cross stitch channel, and we're gonna stitch our brand new mystery sew along. And then Wednesday we'll have our normal cross stitch, and Friday we'll have our normal live stream. So there will be 4 videos this week, and my daughter is so upset because Kevin has to take her to school, and she really likes me to take her. So she does not, she's opposite of you guys, she does not like the first week of the month. So these are my bees. Now we need 5 2 by 8.5. Luckily this is 8.5 wide. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna cut a 4-inch piece. Ooh, I barely have enough. From here, I'm gonna cut it 8.5 inches wide. And I use that, I turn my ruler sideways, so 8.5, and then cut 2 inches. And these are my C's. I need one more though, so I'm gonna grab a little fabric out of here. So let's see if we can find a piece that's 2 by 8.5. So this is left over from one of the previous months. Let's see. So that's not 8.5 that way, so I'm gonna iron this and go sideways. So we're going to do 8.5. Do 2. And this will make it super easy, so when I go home, all I have to do is like run through all of this, because I have to have it all done by Friday, so it won't be so bad now that I've cut everything. So I have everything kind of on my design board, and I don't always keep it like super neat because it's, you know, it's just a design board. So from our prints, I'm going to go ahead and cut the remaining pieces. I do check off as I sew, as I cut, I guess. So I need 4 3.5 by 2.5 inch pieces. So now we're kind of getting into scraps. Not scraps, but you know, I've already cut into everything. So I'm going to cut a 3.5 inch wide piece and see how much we get. So when I do that, we've got 6 pieces here. So I'm going to look 1, 2, I look to make sure I got through all the layers. And so nothing is going to be too skinny. So like sometimes if you cut too much. And let's see, 3.5. And then we're going to subcut these into 2.5 inch segments. So the same thing here, except I'll kind of look here before I cut. Let's see. And then I'm going to see if I got through all the layers. 2, 3, 4. And this is not, oops, I didn't. There's one missing. So try a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've got through all the layers. So I'm going to cut a 5 inch section, 2.5, 5 inch section. I bet I don't get through all the layers though here. Pretty sure I won't. So here, I'm going to look and see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did get through all the layers. Ooh, I got lucky. So these are my, let's see, E's. And we need 4 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangles from each. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I'm going to kind of plan this one. 2.5, 1.5 times 4 is 6. So I'm going to do this and hope that this gets me enough. So try to just cut off what I need. So Kathy says, good morning from rainy Northeast Idaho. I love that storage box the fabric was just pulled out of. Oh, thank you. So this is the 2.5 inch piece. Which ruler is that again? So this is CGR 612. It's the one that I use the most. It is 6.5 by 12.5. It's the one that I use the most at the beginning. And then when I start cutting smaller things, sometimes I use these little small squares also. So this is my F. And you see, I try to waste as little as possible so that I have plenty for my other blocks. And so before I go on, I'm going to go through and answer all the questions that we have. So I was trying to do it as I went, but it's kind of hard when I'm trying to cut. So Laura says, I love the Sew Sampler box. It's a gift to myself this year. Thanks for all the things you offer. Well, thanks for being a part of it. Rosemary, what a great day. Mondays are more enjoyable with Kimberly. Enjoying your videos. Thank you. Laura says, good morning. Forgive me if this has been asked. I'm such a fan of your triangles on a roll and flying geese papers. I was curious if you'd consider adding the item number size of papers to the FQS patterns. Yes, we are doing that going forward. Good morning from Monroe, Michigan. Yay, they said it's rainy there. Lindsay says, good morning. Will there be any chance y'all will carry more of the Shine On sampler kits? No, that fabric is all out of stock. So we can't reorder it from Moda. Mondays are more enjoyable with Kimberly. Oh, thank you. So excited. First time I caught you live. Yay. Thanks so much for the tutorials. They've been a good help. So thank you. So I'm going to move my paper over here. Sorry, it makes me crazy when things are messy. So what I will do here is I try to think of what can I do all at the same time. So the first thing that's the easiest is we're going to do all of the triangle paper first. But I'm not going to do all of the triangle paper. I'm only going to do what we need for this block. So for the G's, this we do need for the block. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one first. And I'm going to do all of it and then just cut off what I need for today's. And when I sew with triangle paper, I use this open toe foot right here. And I'm going to go to like a 1.5 stitch length and just try to keep my paper nice and flat. And I'm just going to stitch directly on those dashed lines. Now when I'm at home, I do have a bed on my machine that goes this way so that everything is nice and flat. And when you're doing triangles on a roll and it stays flat, you get a better result. So I would try to do that at home. Okay, I'm going to leave all the rest of this to do at home later. I'm just going to have enough for today here. for our block, we're gonna work on this block right here. So I'm gonna figure out which one I need. Let's see. So I'm gonna use this top fabric, I think is the one that I'm gonna need. So I'll take one of my, just leave these together. Put these right sides together. And I don't have wrinkles in either. Put this paper on top and stitch those. Same thing. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and trim all these down and finish page 1 before we go to page 2 so I don't get too confused. So when I'm stitching, I try to stitch directly on that dotted line for accurate results, and then I'm going to trim exactly on the straight lines. I like to trim the outside first and then subcut the inside. And on Saturday morning, I think I made 86 half square triangles or something. And I did it all like really fast because my son pulled all the paper off, or one of my sons. So I've got that one ready. And then this one, we need 24, we need 4 for each block. So I only need these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just gonna cut this part off. And I can do all the rest of this at home. Just to save time, because I'm sure y'all really want to just sit here and watch me make all these half square triangles. Did I get a chance to try the precision pin? I absolutely did. And I am going to do a review on, there's 2 products that I tried out. One I really like, and one I don't think I would ever use. I think it is definitely effective if you do not starch. But I'm gonna wait until I've tried it about another week or 2 so that I make sure that my review is really, truly accurate. But yes, I did. And I made some dinosaur blocks and I used the glue and the little pin. So if you wanted a little hint, I really like the glue. I don't think I need the pin at all because the pin is to flatten your seams, and I already have the clapper, so I don't feel like I would need that pin. Like, I feel like that would just be like extra money that I wouldn't need to spend. So from here, I'm going to look, it says to press toward the green and press toward the white. So let's see. So I'm going to set my seam by just putting the iron really, really flat. So we have a super chat. So we're going to bring Super Piggy out. Mary Ann Lucas says, thank you for the tutorials. They really help a lot. Thank you. We're going to try to make Piggy smaller so he doesn't take up the whole thing. So I think the key when you're ironing is just to go nice and slow. You know, how often do I oil my Juki? Not enough. I did oil it this weekend, but truth be told, I don't know which one of the holes are for oil, so all the holes get oil, which is not really good, but that's what I do because I'm too busy to pull that manual out. Good morning, Kimberly. You talk about the downloadable calendar. I'm hoping you could have your live shows on the corresponding dates. Well, let me get back to you on that. But yes, I think I know what you're talking about. I think she means the sew along calendar. I'm going to just chop these little boogers off. I'm hoping that I can train my kids to do this actually, but I'm too worried that they're going to cut into my seams, but this is my next thing that I'm going to train them how to do, because they like to buy these Pokemon cards off of some random gamer, and so they have to earn money to do it. Hey Kimberly, this one is for your kids. April showers bring May flowers. What does May flowers bring? Okay, hold on. May flowers. April showers bring May flowers. I have no idea. Y'all have to tell me. Let's see. Hello from the Netherlands. Oh, wow. I've never been to the Netherlands. So I'm going to just kind of stack these, put them on here. We'll go to page 2. Okay, so we're going to make 4 of these, and I just make sure that I have everything turned the right way, which of course I don't. So green down, and then white down. So these are going to have a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to put these aside, and then we're going to make 4 of these. So I'm going to pull the 4 E's that match. And when I do this at home, I will do the whole stack all at one time when I finish all this off, because it will go much faster. And so the glue that I was talking about, you would kind of put it here. The downside to that glue is you can't really press open when you use it. We're going to take our fabric bees, and we're going to take 4 of these and draw a line on the wrong side. I like to use a friction pin. The heat from the iron will make it disappear later. And on the Acorn Precision Piecing, I watched several videos. I actually watched a video from the husband and wife team that make it. So I watched their video about it. I watched a couple others too. So everybody uses it a little bit different. But I will definitely do a review. I don't want to do a review until I'm like 100% comfortable. So from here, I have them all lined up just like this, and we're going to draw a line. We're going to stitch on that line. So since I've already got my open toe foot, I'm going to do this one first, and I'm going to put a little pin kind of in the corner to keep it in place and just stitch on this line. Now I'm going to put my stitch length back to a 2.0. And when I'm stitching this, I really am careful that this and this are perfectly lined up with the fabric below it. So you shouldn't see the white peeking out, and when you look to the other side, blue shouldn't be peeking out. It should be 100% lined up. So I just put a little pin and do this on all 4. Do you do 1 quilt along a month? So I do like 5 or 6 at the same time. This one is, we do 1 charity quilt along a year. Now these are chain piece. I'm just going to leave them over here. But I've got this lined up. So I'm going to go ahead, change my foot to a 1/4 inch foot. And I'm going to put these right sides together and pin. And do all 4 of these at the same time. June bugs, I'm guessing. I don't know if April flowers bring May flowers. So May brings June bugs. That's funny. It's my birthday week. Yay, happy birthday. Maybe Texas gets June bugs though. Oh, we get June bugs. May flowers brings pilgrims. But Piggy is so cute, he can stay big as far as I'm concerned. Oh, on the screen, that's funny. Piggy. He's so funny. He's got all these ladies in the neighborhood trained. There's all these runners in our neighborhood, and he knows when they run, and he goes and stands by the gate so that they'll pet him. Okay, so now I will cut these apart. Okay, somebody is asking about how I'm cutting the thread on my foot, on my machine, and I'm cutting it with the foot pedal. The foot pedal, if you click it the opposite way of sewing, it will cut the thread for me. How many hours do I quilt and stitch? Okay, this weekend I did 14, and I proofed a book, and I was a taxi. I'm really gonna get I'm not kidding, I'm really gonna get I wanna get one of those vanity plates that says Emma Taxi. Because it's really my fault because, okay, so these are gonna press towards the blue. It's really my fault because when we moved, she was at a different dance studio. And then we moved to a different dance studio, but the dance studio is too far away. So all her friends live like within a block of it. So it's like I'm always going there either for, I think I went there 4 times this weekend. Maybe 5. It's ridiculous. So I've got those pressed. And this one we're gonna press toward the white. So I'm gonna set my seam. Yeah, my boys, they don't really wanna go anywhere. They just wanna game. They just wanna like think they're gamers and game. They don't wanna go anywhere. My daughter wants to be like Miss Social Butterfly. What is in the strawberry and rhubarb? Oh, when is the strawberry and rhubarb fabric coming out? It hasn't shipped yet, but should be soon. What collection are you using for the Serendipity Quilt Along? This fabric right here is Spring Brook by Corey Yoder, and this is Thatched by Robin Pickens, and this SKU sold out this morning, but we should have more by Thursday because I literally ordered it right before I came upstairs. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. Now this is where you start wasting time. But I can see right here, if I line this up, let me do it where y'all can tell. 2.5 by 3.5. Line it up, right? I didn't really line up good, so I can chop that off. And I can do the same thing on the other side just to make sure that I'm exactly 2.5 by 3.5. I can tell that I've got a little bit hanging off right here. So that just means I didn't line up correctly. And I can just tell by looking at my pieces that they're not as accurate as I would like them to be. So I'm just gonna, this one's pretty good. So sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. But I can just tell. The only reason I'm doing it now is I can just tell that I was not as accurate as I should have been. I'm new to your sew-alongs, missed this one, although I see the pattern is available. When is the next quilt along? So we do the charity quilt every beginning of the year. So it usually will start March, April, but we have lots of sew-alongs. If you check me out on Friday, you will see all the sew-alongs that I am doing right now. Some are free, some are paid. This one is free because we're raising money for Make-A-Wish. So we have got a link in the description box that you can check out and donate. So I'm on this step now, and I'm adding this little yellow guy. Two. So there we go, we're almost done. So here we want to add this to here. I'm going to go ahead and pin this way so that I'm a little bit more accurate. And this is where you could use that Acorn Precision glue and just do little dots. I feel like that product is nice. Is it a must-have? No. Will I use it? Yes. Every now and then. Just to change things up. I mean, I sewed so much this weekend that I just was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to finish. And I really don't mind. I love to sew. My problem right now is I can't find anything to watch on TV. And so that's where I'm struggling. So from here, I just make sure that right here, it's lined up right here and right here. And just chain piece those together. Is that fun background between the blue and the yellow bee fabric available as yardage? Look on the Springbrook, just search Springbrook and see what comes up. Some of the fabrics in Springbrook are sold out, but some are still available. It just depends. And I did forget to say, but I'm using color 2600, which is a gray thread, and the reason why, when I do this on a dark, I don't want to see my stitches. Like when you pull it, I can see my stitch right there, but you can't really see it because it blends in. So if you used a white thread, you might be able to see your stitches. I'm super picky about that. That's one thing I am pretty picky about. So from here, we're going to set our seam and press toward the yellow. Is the designer mystery still going to start in June? Yes, it is, if the fabric arrives. The fabric has not arrived yet. The finishing kits will be late. Okay, so that should have laid down better. Okay. Is Sew by Rose shipping this week? Yes. Will the May block of the month be shipping on schedule around the 12th? It depends if the fabric arrives. Right now, everything is behind on delivery, so as soon as it arrives, we ship. Will you do the designer mystery online? No, we don't do that one online or as a video. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I have all these laid out the same way. And then lay these out where the green's on top. And these need to go together. So I'm going to pin. And the key to pinning is to make sure when you start, I usually pin the very right side and I make sure that it's perfectly lined up right there. And then on this one, I'm going to pin on the left also to make sure that is perfectly lined up. And then you see that the top is a little bit longer than the bottom. Just put a pin right there and it'll ease in. So I'm just going to pin all these real quick. The YouTube crime beat, Canadian crime from the reporter's viewpoint that followed the original story, some are audio only. I'll have to try that. I can't even imagine sewing in front of a live camera. Yeah, me either. You do it so well. Thank you. I'm a seasoned quilter, but I cannot tell you how much you have improved my quilting. Pressing, cutting, and piecing. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you've also made me a starcher. Oh my gosh, yes, I could not starch. That is like, well, actually this weekend, I made my kids go out to eat because I was sewing like crazy. And then when I got to the dinosaur quilt, I thought I had everything starched and I didn't. So I starched it and said, oh, we're gonna go to dinner. So when I get back, I can sew. But when I got back, they weren't dry. So I had to wait till the next morning. Okay, now I'm gonna show you, see how it's a little bit wavy? Meaning, you know, it doesn't line up 100%, it's because you've got seams. So what I do to fix it is put your little piece in right there, but you're lined up right here, right? You're lined up perfectly. Okay, now I'm gonna unpin this, pull this, but see you're still lined up here. Pull it. you're lined up on the left and the right. You shouldn't have either side peeking through the back. So that's how I cheat. I just pull as I sew. Just oh my gosh, we're almost done. It hasn't even been an hour yet. Kimberly, I was sure I watched you do a Springbrook Blossom tutorial, but now that I need to refer back to it, I can't find it. So what I did do is I showed Springbrook Blossom Sew Along, and that is on corianderquilts.com. It is a free sew along, and I have shown the blocks on the last 2 Friday live streams. And I am doing that sew along to support Cori. If you had to pick one pattern to use scraps, which would you choose? Layer Cake Lemonade. That's my favorite pattern. From here, let's see which way I need to press it. Press toward the yellow. So right here, your piece should have nothing from the back sticking out anywhere, and the other side too. I used your mitered borders video this weekend. Thanks for always being a growing library of knowledge. Thank you. That's one of my favorite videos, actually, because I actually have, if I do miter, I have to watch it because I can't remember all the rules. What is the SKU number for Robin Pickens fabric? We'll get that. Oh, it is 48626-94. And some of that might have sold out this morning, but if it did, we'll have it back in stock soon. And here, I just want to make sure right here that this little point matches, and it does. And I didn't even check to make sure it did. I guess I should have, but. So just nice and flat. And if you are pressing and this is still like, when you pull it up, it's still popping up, you'll want to just keep your iron on it a little bit more. And at this point, what I would do if I was at home is I would put these 2 units like this, pressed so they're hot, and then I would put this clapper on it. Actually, I would put the bigger clapper. And then I would work on other blocks, and when you come back and all the heat's out, it's even flatter. So from here, we're gonna try to get this to line up. Oh, it's so cute. So I've got the yellows in the center, and then I just look yellow, 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 yellow. Put these right sides together, and there is gonna be points right here that need to match. I'm gonna show you how to match them. I'm gonna show you actually a cheat way. You can see your 1/4 inch right there. It's where the triangle hits. Over here, I'm gonna draw a line and just a cheat. That's where the 1/4 inch hits. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Now, I don't usually do this at home unless I'm having a really bad day, or my, like really bad day in terms of my points not lining up. Usually I can get them to line up. So what I will do is put this right sides together. Again, get this right there where there's nothing hanging off the front or the back. So you should look at the front, and when you're looking at the front, you should only see blue, not white. When you look at the back, you should see white, no blue. And then I'm going to pin over here. And then right here, I'm going to poke my pin right where that 1/4 inch line is. See that line? And then I'm going to poke my pin right in that point. Now, in a perfect world, if you had sewed 100% perfect, you wouldn't need to do that, but that's not possible. And this, I like the size of this block. Let's see, it comes out to 8.5 inches square. I love this fabric though. And here I'm going to poke my pin in the point. Let's see. Ow. In the point, and then right where I drew that line. Now I can eyeball where that 1/4 inch is, but just so you can visually see what I'm doing. And then I let that pin go straight up and down. And then just put my pin in. And with a 1/4 inch seam, I'm going to go straight down. And we're almost done. Now when you're sewing, right here you can see the 1/4 inch. It's hard to see because of the camera, but there's a 1/4 inch. You can see it. So there's your needle, there's your 1/4 inch. You can try to hit it. Hit the 1/4 inch. Oops, my pin is turning. I usually just go so fast that I don't even pay attention to that. But you can if you want to. And then we'll look and see. Perfect. So that hit there. And it hit there. It's actually like a 1/16 of an inch off. Look right there. It's a 1/16 of an inch off. So I'm going to go ahead and go over that a little bit. Oh, and you can see. Okay, so from the top camera, look what happened. We're going to zoom in a little bit, but what happened when I was trying to look at that, look at my stitches. They went off. They're not straight. They went like that. They curved. So I'm going to go back over it straight and not pay attention to that point because that's the one I was trying to pay attention to. So then I just put this on here and just go over it again. And hopefully it matches, and it does. So that's why I generally just don't even pay attention. I just hope it hits. And some days are better than others. There's days where I have all my points match, and then there's some days where they don't match, and then, you know, vice versa. So this one, it actually doesn't really matter when you get to this point which way you press, because you're going to have sashing between it on all sides, so whichever way you want. What is the average size quilt you can make with a fat 1/4 bundle? If you use the turning 20 pattern, you can make a really big quilt. That one, I would say lap to twin. When is the next time you plan to see Lori? I love that you guys are besties. I'm trying to find a date in July. I wanted to go in June, but the date that I have available is she's out of town. So from here, I'm just going to leave that little chain in there. But we've got the same thing where this and this need to meet, and this need to meet. So I'm going to do the same thing. Have you searched digitally printed fabric, wondering how it does? We are not going to digitally print our own fabric, but we do buy some from some of the manufacturers. The price is very high. But the point of digital is so that you can get more colors than you could on a regular fabric. Starched digitally printed fabrics. Yeah, you can starch them just like anything, yeah. What if you are not a fan of the quilt pattern the center makes? Could you set the blocks differently? Yeah, you can do whatever the center makes. Could you set the blocks differently? You could, on this one, you could just not add the yellow piece and make this white piece longer. I use polka pin too. I think of Kimberly and say polka pin, polka pin. That's funny. Let's see. When doing a quilt from pre-cuts, you use the same line of fabric for the border, binding, and backing, or do you just pick a fabric you like? If the fabric's available, I usually stay within the collection unless I'm using a different background. It all just depends. But I do try to stay kind of within. So now I'm gonna do this last seam. that's off a little bit, but it's fine. Okay. So from here, I'm going to just set my seam. And if you have not donated to Make-A-Wish today and you want to donate, that would be great. So it looks nice and pretty. So from here, before I'm actually going to add a sashing. But before I add a sashing, I'm going to trim my block. So when you trim in your block, I cannot stand these little threads. I'm OCD. I am like, just would rather trim them off. But when you're doing this, hopefully you don't have a lot sticking out. You want to have your 1/4 inch line on your ruler there and there. So when I trim, it's just a little tiny bit. Now, if I'm having a bad day, there's going to be more than that. It kind of just depends, you know, how accurate you are that day. And I'm going to show you something. So look right there. That's not perfectly straight. See that? See that green dips down? That's okay. So you can see that didn't come out perfect. No big deal. It's gonna, nobody's gonna know. So now I'm gonna show you how to add one of the C rectangles, because when you put that on, look, it's about a 1/4 inch longer. No, a 1/16 of an inch longer. Let me see. And that's because, ooh, that's a lot shorter. That's a lot longer. So when you look at my block, it's supposed to be 8.5, and it's 8 1/4. So I'm a 1/4 inch short, and that's fine. It's always that way. It's fine. No big deal. Let me make sure I've got the block going the right way, though. Yeah, I do. So what I will do here to make it work is the same thing. Pin on the edge, making sure that that is you don't see any of the block behind it, and making sure you don't see any of the sashing behind it. That's the key. Do the same thing over here. And then maybe do one pin. And then look, all that's gonna ease in. I'm gonna just put a little pin here, and we're gonna ease it in. So. Okay, so to ease it in, I'm gonna pull this finger back. Now it's straight. Do the same thing, just keep pulling. So it looks a little wavy, right? Ooh, that's a hot mess. I'm gonna fix that. I gotta find my seam ripper. I think I might have dropped it off the... Oh, here it is, sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna fix this. So I'm just gonna move that, just go back over that seam right there. And then this, that's gonna bunch up, and you're gonna see it on the front. So I'm gonna kinda just undo a couple stitches and fix it. So I'll just go back over those little pieces real quick. Now I have received some questions about why don't you just chop this off to the same size? And I can't like just answer exactly. I just know it doesn't work. So I don't really know the scientific way. So from here, you don't want to just put your iron right on it because you've got those waves. Just go along the edge. You've set that seam. Hopefully my points match. Oh, it's flat now. So when you add that next block, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to go home with my box, and these blocks at home will probably come out 8.5 because I will be at home. I won't be standing up. So if I had chopped this to 8.25, it wouldn't match. Let's see. So from here, I've been keeping my blocks in here. I'll put my Serendipity back in here so I have it when I go home. So that I remember all my steps. So I'll take this home. And then I will take all of this home. And so when you come Friday to live stream, I will show it to you all put together. And I'm going to show you my other blocks. And I'm going to move the sewing machine too. Okay, so that is row 4. This is row 2. Let's see, this is row 1. And you can see that my sashing, I didn't trim it down, but I guarantee these blocks were smaller than the sashing. It all works out. It comes out nice. My blocks are never 100% the right size. Same thing here on these also. So we have 3 rows completely done. Row 4 almost done. And I will take this home and get it all done before Friday. What is the name of the fabric line that will be used in Lori Holt's Kaleidoscope quilt? B cross stitch. And I think it's out already. What causes the corners to curve in like that? I noticed that in a lot of my blocks. I think it's just maybe just slightly inaccurate cutting or slightly inaccurate piecing, one of the two. Good morning from Tennessee. Love the new Sew Sampler blocks. I belong to your cross stitch channel. Does that mean I also joined this channel? So there are 2 different channels. One is called Fat Quarter Shop Floss Tube. One is called Fat Quarter Shop. Just hit subscribe. Once you hit subscribe, click the little notification and then click all. I have something else to show you guys too. Let's see. Pat says, Kimberly, can you say again how much you cut off your background for your borders? Yes. Okay. So when you look at the pattern requirements say that we need 5 1/4 yards of 4, 8, 6, 2, 6, 9, 4. We wrote the pattern for width of fabric borders because that is what 80% of you guys prefer. I never put a border on a quilt that is not length of fabric. That's just personal choice. I know it's wasteful. I think it looks better, and that's why I do it. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So to do that, I cut a 76.5 inch width off of this piece, and I'm saving this for the borders. It has not been starched. It says 76.5 by length of fabric. unstarched border. Now this is how much starch fabric I have left. So when I get to rows, the next 3 rows, if I run out, I will show you how we're going to get into this without messing with my border fabric. What time is Friday's live stream? So all of our live streams are always 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. My favorite scrap pattern again. Okay, I said Layer Cake Lemonade. Also Scrappy Swirling Stars. Swirling Stars is also good. What starch do I use? I use this Niagara Original Hold. And I wanted to show you guys that we have bonuses throughout the Serendipity Quilt Along. This one is a completely free pattern. This would be great for scraps too. It came out on Friday. It is our bonus flower basket mini quilt. We used a fat quarter bundle of Homestead. You don't need a full fat quarter bundle. That's just kind of what we started with. And then obviously the background. And then this is what we put on the back. So we have this pattern on our website. It's completely free. It's so cute. And Corey Yoder designed it, Elva made it, and Mike at mylongarm.com quilted it. So you'll want to make sure to check that out. And then we have one new YouTube member, Lisa Law Girl. Thank you so much. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions on this row or how I did anything, any piecing questions, comment below. I'm happy to answer them, and I will see you on Friday. Bye.